'89.7 KLASFM. My name is Richard Harris, and this week's show we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in the world of sports. And we're going to do it like we've been doing the last few weeks, where we've been sort of doing the music for some segments without. And we're going to talk a little fantasy football a little later on in this half hour. And so, without much further ado, here we go. Week 2 in the NFL was pretty wild as we had three very impressive come-from-behind victories by three teams. Tom Brady has already thrown for 950 yards through 2 games, and Cam Newton is rewriting the record books for rookies. No running back has been more impressive than Fred Jackson of the Buffalo Bills, and we'll talk about the Bills in a moment. And the Guts Award this week is given to probably Tony Romo, and you all know how much I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. So here we are. We're going to talk about the fwampfwamp Sports top 3 teams of the week. And we're going to kick it off with the number 3 team of the week. Without question, as much as I hate to give them credit, I've got to give Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys a lot of love. Romo being knocked out of the game with a fractured rib and a punctured lung led his team to a come-from-behind victory in overtime against the San Francisco 49ers, who was actually playing a lot better than I thought they would at the start of this season. The Cowboys are loaded. They have weapons all over the field on offense. Defensively, they're missing too many key players. But for Romo to come off the bench, to come out of the locker room like a gunslinger, like this music is saying he is, to do what he did, he deserves some props. This week, Dallas got the Redskins on Monday night, a game in which should determine first place, but it's only 3 weeks into the season, so who really cares? I think they should rest him this week because there's a ton more games left to play. But I think the Cowboys want to ride that momentum that they gained from the performance that he gave last week, and we shall see what happens Monday night. The second team, the Detroit Lions. That's right, folks. The Detroit Lions are for real. And they don't even have their full team yet. Nick Fairley still hasn't played for them. And their defense is absolutely smothering. They played very well against Tampa Bay the previous week. And this week against the Chiefs, who will be mentioned later on, they absolutely suffocated them with proper tackling, making Matt Castle look like he never knew how to play the game before, and an offense with Calvin Johnson and the team being able to run the football, but my man from Virginia Tech, Matt Stafford, if you could stay healthy, this team is going places. They have a big game this weekend, for they have lost, I believe, the last 15 times to Minnesota in Minnesota, and they need a game to sort of legitimize this new Detroit phenomenon that is permeating the National Football League. They've scored a lot of points so far. We'll see how they do come this week against the Minnesota Vikings. And the number 1 team this week, no question, the Buffalo Bills are really fun to watch. I told you at the beginning of the season that the Bills and the Lions and Tampa Bay are 3 teams that if you're a gambler of football, that you should stay away from unless you're taking them as underdogs, because of the fact that they will be in every single game they play. They can score against anyone, anywhere. They can run it. They can throw it. I told you about Fred Jackson earlier. His 2 runs in the second half kind of sparked that comeback to get them back in the game. C.J. Spiller is his sort of his lightning, and he's the thunder, and he can take the ball the length of the field as well. Stevie Johnson can catch the ball all over the place, and they got a quarterback who's not afraid of anything. Harvard guys are tough, right? The Bills will give every single team they play this year a fit. They got the Patriots this Sunday, and I'm certain the Patriots aren't overlooking the Bills. I'm sure the Patriots are very, very worried about the fact that they're going to have to play a shootout game with this team because the Patriots' defense is not very strong. Got to give the Raiders some props. The Raiders could have lied down after the Bills took the lead, but Jason Campbell hit that big pass to give them the lead again, and then unfortunately they couldn't stop him with 14 seconds to go on 4th down. It was a great game. If the Raiders had won, the Raiders would be the #1 team this week. But I had to give it to the Buffalo Bills, and we look forward to seeing the Bills and the Patriots come Sunday. Now, an honorable mention good this week, I'd give Tennessee some love. I mean, they looked pretty anemic against Jacksonville in the first week, but beating the Ravens deserves a lot of props. The Ravens essentially, I guess, left their toughness card and their toughness in Pittsburgh the previous week because they let Matt Hasselbeck look like he was Joe Namath. I mean, he just carved them at 350 yards passing against the Ravens defense. I don't hate, I congratulate. And so, those are my top 3 teams this week, with Tennessee getting some honorable mention. And we'll be back on 89.7 KLSFM after this word from the Jeffrey Foundation. Cindy Bolanos, mother of Jonathan, aged 24 months, has cerebral palsy and has just heard that her Social Security check has been cut by the state. Jonathan is enrolled at the Jeffrey Foundation's toddler program and is still on the waiting list for funding by a state-subsidized program. The Jeffrey Foundation's founder, Miss Alice Morris Winston, is attempting to find a way for Cindy to secure a job and for Jonathan to continue at the Jeffrey Foundation's toddler program, which will help him become ready for school. Although Jonathan is not disabled, his mother needs assistance in his parenting. Mrs. Winston started the Jeffrey Foundation 38 years ago when there were no child care or after-school programs for special needs children. She continues to help families through the current economic crisis by keeping the Jeffrey Foundation open for child care, counseling for the parents, as well as personal advice that helps in difficult situations. The Jeffrey Foundation aims to make life more productive for special needs children and their families by helping them meet the challenges created by developmental disabilities, autism, multiple handicaps, poverty, abuse, abandonment and neglect, through high-quality programming and support services. Since its establishment, the Jeffrey Foundation has grown from a modest child care center into today's highly regarded multi-program organization. The foundation has served approximately 10,000 children and their families over the past 38 years. The Jeffrey Foundation needs your assistance to keep these much-needed programs ongoing. A book is being written and a screen treatment is available telling the story of how Alice started the foundation. The Jeffrey Foundation is located at 5470 West Washington Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90016, and the Special Child and Family Resource Center at 5443 West Washington Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90016. For additional information to visit our center or to donate a scholarship, please call Martha Way at 323-965-7536 or email at mway@thejeffreyfoundation.com. 89.7 KLAS FM. My name is Richard Harris.